Hey friends, and welcome back to Old Mill Homestead. So today I wanted to talk to you just about kind of things that are going on, right? So I think we as a society today, we get in this comparison act. And so I wanted to speak about our homestead, what our goals are, what our wants are, and what our homestead is gonna look like. It's gonna be different from person to person. I feel like there's this stereotype of what homesteading is, and I think it's great that everybody is so different, and we need to really embrace that, right? So in particular, one thing that I can tell you for sure is that this is a first. Everything we're doing here on this homestead is a first. The gardening, canning, making our own chicken broth. We're getting chickens, having the goats, moving the goats, turning it into a working homestead instead of just a place to come home to. It's a working homestead. And so it's different from everybody. So don't compare your day one, your year one on somebody's year 10. I'm competing with no one. I compete with myself. I want to better myself. I want to make things better for my family. I want to provide fresh produce, fresh eggs, supplemental income at some point, just making things better for us. I'm not in competition with anybody else, and you don't need to be either. My hair is all over the place. This is what I look like most days, right? I've been up since about 4:30. I've been running this homestead, moving the goats, cleaning, washing the laundry, out de-weeding the garden, checking on everything in the garden. We've got some tomatoes coming in and a pepper coming in. We have stuff that's starting to grow. I've been setting up the chicken brooder because they're coming this week. There's a lot of things. I typically don't run around with a face full of makeup, and there's nothing wrong if you do that, but this homestead, it's a working homestead. I get hot, I get sweaty. There's a lot to do. We have a lot of acreage that has to be worked. We're expanding, so here's some of the things that we're doing in the future. We already have the 5 goats, right? We have Rue, who has been banded, and then we have Java, we have Blackie, we have Maggie, and we have Mocha. The girls, we are gonna get into breeding goats, and so either the end of this year or next year, the people that we get our goats from will have a boy that's not related to any of the girls. They're switching out all their breeding stock, and so we'll get a boy or 2 from them, and we're gonna expand Old Mill Homestead. So not expand as far as we're not buying acreage, but using more of our fields and our forest line back there, tree line, more of our acreage. So there is a high probability, and I can't say 100% for sure, but a high probability that we're going to be getting a calf. And the calf is going to be used for a completely different thing than on probably any other homestead, right? It's going to be a boy. He's going to have been neutered, banded, and he is going to be free ranging on our land. We're going to rotate him from pasture to pasture, meaning we're going to section off sections, and we'll put goats in with him on one section, and then we'll move him to the next section, maybe where the boy goats are, and then we'll move him to the next section. He's not going to be a meat source for us. We went back and forth about this. A friend of ours has, I don't know how many acres, but he has a cattle ranch, and this particular calf is not the color that he wants. He wants black only, and I can't remember the breed of calf, but he knows how much I love cows, and so he asked me if I would want him or not. He's gonna sell him. And I've wanted a cow my entire life. I don't know if you've ever noticed, but a lot of the things in the house say I love cows, or it's some kind of photo of a cow. Even above me where I sit. Right? I love cows. I don't eat meat. I don't eat beef and pork or seafood. So most homesteads, that cow would be food, and I don't think there's anything wrong with that, okay? I don't think there's anything wrong with me choosing not to slaughter him, and I don't think there's anything wrong with people raising their own meat, right? Their own cattle, their own pigs, their own chickens, their own turkeys, their own ducks, whatever, their own bison, whatever you want to raise. I would prefer people raise their own meat versus buying meat that's been stuck in a barn-ish place where it has no room to move. It's never seen grass. It's been pumped full of antibiotics and pumped full of crap and then shipped to your grocery store for you. I would much rather people that have put time and energy and effort and rotational grazed, or at least had them out on pasture, and they've gotten to see grass and weather and bunnies and everything else they can experience. I would much rather that. Now, can I personally do that? No. This cow, he's not a pet cow. He's going to be keeping the field chomped down for us. He's kind of pushing us into the direction of doing sectioning off sections so we can rotate the goats and him. Now, we will keep the 5 goats we have. They will not be going anywhere. Also, the 2 boys we get will not be going anywhere. So we'll have 7 goats full-time on hand, but we will breed the girls. Maggie's a question. We may or may not breed. We may try it once. Before we got her, she had when she had a baby goat, her teat metastasized, and so I'm not sure. I'm not sure about that. I need to do some more research. She may be off the table as far as that. It may be a thing where we just need to bottle feed her baby goat if she has any, and I'm flexible with that. But the other people had stopped breeding her, and she was just a companion goat. So we'll see about her, but the other ones we will be breeding. We're bringing money back into the homestead. Now, these are dairy, predominantly, mostly dairy goats. So I would even like to get into maybe starting to milk. Lots of different things that are coming and changing on the homestead. I'm pretty excited about it. The calf is not 100%. We're still talking about it. He's going to be huge, about 1,500 pounds. And so, you know, I don't want a 1,500 pound pet in essence, even though that's kind of what he is. But he's going to be working for us. He's going to be out, you know, eating the grass, mowing the field down. We'll probably keep a stretch that we can still get rolled for hay, and then use that for him and the goats. So all new things, all things we're entering into. People have varied opinions. I can tell you today that in the past 6 months, my opinion of people eating cows and cows and pigs has changed, right? I could never imagine why someone would want to slaughter a cow or a pig, and because I love cows and pigs, and I couldn't fathom that. Even though I ate chicken and turkey, I couldn't fathom that. And I don't like a lot of the treatments that a lot of the animals that we receive as meat in the grocery stores receive. And sometimes not in the grocery stores. You have to really watch, right? But learning and watching people around us even, and people in different communities that are raising and putting time and energy and love and patience and all of this into an animal. Can I do it? No. I mean, obviously if times were extremely hard, we would do what we have to do to survive. But can I do that to can I put Fluffy or whatever in the backyard and then be like, okay, well, Fluffy, you know, it's your turn, we're taking you to slaughter. I can't do it. And if that makes me weak or a bad homesteader, I'm okay with that. He will be a grass eater, right, in the back. I like the fact that he's going to be big. I feel like that helps with protection. We do have coyotes, we have raccoons, possums, coyotes, skunks. We have there has been bobcat seen in the area, not close to us, but on the other side of the county. It's been a hot minute. There's been black bear that have been seen. So we do have issues with predators. I feel better that he'll be in the back with the goats. Now, the mamas and the babies will stay up close in the current goat yard. We will let them out to graze, but they will come back at night into the current goat yard or into the electric fencing, so I can keep a better eye. It's just a lot of different things happening, and my homestead's gonna look different than a lot. And if that upsets you, then this probably isn't the channel for you. There are some great, what I consider true core homesteading channels that you can watch that have tons of knowledge, way more experience, way more knowledge. This is someone starting out fresh, who already came into it with some perceived things that have been, some have been dispelled and shattered, and some are I'm still hard on, right? My husband eats deer. I see deer in the backyard and I get giddy because they're just so pretty, right? And my husband's like, well, you shoot deer, and we differ on that. We still love each other. We can have different opinions and still love one another, right? We don't know, you don't have to agree on every single thing. So this homestead is more about learning. You know, do we still go to the grocery store? Yes, we go to the grocery store. Are we still gonna go to the grocery store when we get our garden going? Probably for some things, yeah, milk and cheese in particular, because I haven't tapped into that with the goats yet, and I'm not comfortable with it, so I don't know how to do that. But is that something I'm interested in? It perks my interest, and I may do it in some years. But I feel like this year we've had a lot of new, and I'm maxed on learning anything else, right? So for this year, we're good where we are. We're good with the garden. We're good with getting the chickens, the new goats, managing everything. We do not want to go into debt to build any of this stuff, and so that means you have to put money aside. So if it's the chicken coop ends up costing, I don't know how much it's gonna cost, $500. We have to have $500 put aside, because what's the point in this homestead? What's the point of going in debt $500 for a chicken coop so that I can have free eggs, right? No, I don't want to do that. I want a freeze dryer. We have been putting back for it every month. I'm not going to charge a freeze dryer so I can have one. That's very important to us here. We want to live more sustainably. We want to help supplement food. So instead of having to run to the grocery store, we want more things here on the homestead: fruits, vegetables, eggs. We have sources local that we can get if Nick wants beef or pork or whatever that looks like. He's got a license for deer during deer season. He could get a deer if he wanted. So it's all about being more sustainable, but our way is going to be different than maybe your way or the next person's way. There's thousands probably channels that you can watch, or articles, or people, or whatever that you can follow that are going to look a lot different than me. We're happy where we are. We're happy with our development into being homesteaders, and I love it. I love being here. This is turning into a place that I don't feel I need a vacation to leave, right? I love coming home. I love watching the goats play. I love our four-legged babies running and playing. We can go up and see mom and dad, Nick's mom and dad, not even leave the homestead, right? I wish I could get my dad to move here so that he could be here with us. You know, it's something that I am enjoying. I'm loving the little things that we're learning. Is it what everyone's homestead looks like? No. Does that mean I'm a bad homesteader? I guess that's not in my opinion, but I guess that's up to you, right? So I feel like we put a lot of pressure on people when they call themselves something, or when they say they live on a homestead. Well, you should have zero debt. You should do everything yourself. You should grow all your own food. You should make all your own seasonings. You should never go to the grocery store. You should be off grid. You should have water catchment. You should have solar panels or water filled, you know, where it's generating power. We have power. We're not off grid here, right? That's something that I'm very interested in. As far as being off the electric grid and off the water grid. We have some water catchment barrels out there that we plan to put in place, but it all takes time, right? I wouldn't and I can't pay someone to come in and just do it all, right? That in itself is not homestead. So if it takes us 6 months, if it takes us 6 years to get to a place that in some people's minds makes us a legit homestead, I'm fine with that. I'm fine with the way our homestead is. I think it's amazing that there's so many different variables for everybody in their homesteading journey, and I think we should support one another and not cast stones and not talk about each other. Be happy that that person has the extra funds to pay somebody to do something for them. Be happy that they're supporting local local tradesmen that can come in and do that. Be happy that they're able to do certain things themselves. Some people are older, some people have physical ailments. I am not a healthy spring chicken. I have lots of health issues. You know, honestly, my husband has pulled the majority of the load on the big things, right? Like building the chicken coop. I've helped. My father-in-law has helped quite a bit. It's been me kind of being the errand person, right? But there are some things I've gotten in there and done. It's just do your version of things, right? It doesn't have to be, you know, I don't know. I feel like there's such a condemnation almost on people. Just take one step and move towards whatever goals you're wanting to make. Don't stay frozen and just not do anything. And that's where I've been for years. I didn't want to do a garden because I didn't think I was any good at it. I've got stuff growing in there, you know, and I'm learning every day about it. Have I made mistakes? Absolutely. Yes, I've made a ton. But I also made some good things. I've also done some good things and gained a lot of knowledge. With the goats, we've had Rue and Java, started out Rue and Eeyore for 5 years, and then when Eeyore passed away, we got Java, and they've just been, you know, hanging out in their yard, in the backyard, and never getting them out to do other things. So we'll stop this video here. I just wanted to kind of jump on here and encourage you to just put one foot in front of the other. Friends, it will make a huge difference, and I think you'll be happy. We'll see you in the next one. Bye.